Hello and welcome to the apiary. This is Jake Beeman with Golden Fox Farms. Today we're going to go through some of those swarms we captured last week and get them situated at their new spot in the apiary. Now this is a pretty typical swarm capture in this box. This is a 10 frame deep. I would have used one frame of drawn comb. You can see the comb on top of that frame in the middle, and then all foundationless frames around it. What I would intend to do getting into this hive is remove any of the unused foundationless frames, because I have to make those. I can't just buy those, and replace them with foundation, because I can buy foundation pre-made, which is important for me and my time. So what I'm going to do is go through this hive, remove the frames the bees aren't using yet, and replace them with foundation. Now this hive is a little bit weaker than some swarms can be. I'll feel confident about them building out a 10 frame deep, but I think that's probably all I'm going to get out of them. So I'll stop once I get these new frames in and put the lid on them and call it done. Now, this is one you all saw me capture. This was the rather large swarm I used the bucket pole to get out of the tree. This box has 3 frames of drawn comb in the middle, and it's surrounded by foundation on the rest of it with the bottom box empty. What I need to do on this one is check and make sure we don't have comb extension to the bottom. And we have a little bit, so we're going to have to remove that freestyle comb the bees built. This is a rather strong colony, so we will set this one up in a different way. First, we take this comb off so we can work freely without crushing any bees afterwards, and that was a minor bit of comb, so not a big loss for the colony. And what I'm going to do is convert them to a single. I'm going to reduce them down to a single deep box with all the bees and brood in it. And because they're so strong, I feel confident about putting a super on these girls, a super of foundation, and I'm confident I'll get a nice super of brand new honeycomb off of them by the end of this season. Now, this is a decidedly weaker swarm, as indicated by it being in a 5 frame box. The first thing we notice is, well, the top's covered in ants, and if we open up this hive, we're going to tick everybody off. So let's take a bee brush and get those ants out of there before they're crawling on the bees and making everybody unhappy and stingy. Now, after that, we'll pull this inner cover off, and what we're going to find is we've got, a seam of bees. This is a really small swarm. Basically, all I can hope for this swarm to do is get a good mated queen that I can combine with another hive later on, or steal the queen and then combine the remnants for afterwards. So what I'll do with this, I'm just going to eyeball this, make sure we actually do have a queen in here, and I do see her on this frame. So I'll remove the foundationless frames that aren't in use and leave the 2 frames they are using. And I'm going to go ahead and add a food frame just to buy them time and 2 pieces of foundation. Now, I would not do this with a colony if we were already in the dearth, because that food frame would be robbing magnet for bees, and we'd probably lose that colony. But since we're still so early in the spring and the flow is still going as well as it is, I can get away with that right now, just to buy them some time to take care of business. Now this is a double nuke box that you guys saw me shake out of a tree twice. The bottom box has nothing in it, so I shook the bees into that. Top box has a frame of drawn comb and 4 foundationless frames. So what I'm going to want to do with this is take the bees in the top box and get them into the bottom. And it's going to be kind of the same routine as with some of the other ones. If they're not using a foundationless frame, we replace it with foundation. Now, I'm going to pull out that one like I don't see anything on that. The bees built on one side of the box, which is not unusual. So we're able to get 2 foundationless frames out, and then we'll move the pumpkin, if you will, the core that actually has the bees working and the queen, and we'll move that as a unit to the box below. That way, I don't even have to worry about where the queen is or nothing else. I know she's in that clump somewhere. Now, since they're not the biggest colony in the world and they're here by themselves, I am going to add a food frame just to give them a boost along with a foundation frame. And what I'm going to do, rather than making them a double deep, I'm going to go ahead and super them. So I'll put a queen excluder on top of them and 5 frames of medium foundation so they can draw that out and get me just a little bit more honeycomb for use in the years ahead. Oh, and true to form, I forgot to release the queen that I caged in here, because usually I don't see encaged queens with swarms. So I had to tuck back in here and let her out. I just popped the cap off and dropped her in the clear spot and dropped that foundation frame back in place. That way I don't have to worry about her flying off while I'm manipulating the frames. Now, this is one of my favorite ways to set up swarm colonies. This is a pair of double deep swarm captures where I do the same thing as I did before. Top box will have comb and foundationless frames, bottom box is empty. I like catching swarms in that setup because it's a fairly lightweight and easily transportable unit, and it's pretty reliable. So what I have here is a pair of them next to each other. I'm going to do the same routine I did on the prior hive. I'm going to take the colony that's in the top box and convert them into the bottom box. I'm going to bottom them. I'm also going to remove any foundationless frames they're not using and replace that with foundation. So I'll get this one set up. So now it's set up as a 10 frame hive, and we'll go to the one next to it. The one next to it, I actually did this conversion while it was still where I caught it at the home apiary. Now, since both of these are fairly strong, and I'm confident they're going to build out the 10 frames of space they have and then some, I'm going to super these bees in common. I'm going to use a queen excluder that has a bar through the middle that will keep the queen from transitioning over from side to side, and place a common super on top of this hive. So I'll not only get the 10 frames of brood nest out of both of these units, I'll generally get a super off of them as well. An extra 35 pounds of honey. With this video, we've examined how I situate swarms after capture for the season ahead, and I hope this gives you the tools to take full advantage of the swarms you catch as well. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll say good luck and happy beaking.